Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing that beautiful, beautiful mic 1 2. Woo. Testing 1 2. Can I get that a sound check? Ooh. No, it's too low. No, it's too low. If my lovely sound checker is here, if my lovely, lovely sound checker is in the building. How's that sound? How's that sound, lovely sound checker? Oh, see, I plugged it into the USB this time and not the actual thingamajig. Here we go. Here we go. Whoop, woody, whoop, whoop, whoop. Boop. Hey, look at me. Wait. Let's try this. Let's try this one. Look at me. Look at me, eh? Look at me. Boop. Hey. Loud and clear. Thank you, lovely sound checker. You are the loveliest of you are the loveliest of lovely. You are the loveliest of lovelies. Lovely. Oh, just getting that a little bit centered right there. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. All right. So I'm just waiting for this beautiful chat to start up over on this bad boy. Let's see what we got. Let the community commence. Blow up that chat, friends. Blow it up. 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 Something blow up. I don't know the words. I don't know these words. I'm not very in to popular music nowadays. Hootie hootie hoo. Hootie and the Blowfish. Yeah, I got this bad boy plugged into the USB and not an XLR through a sound box. That's not what it's called. I know the names of these things. I just can't think of it right now. Okay, I can't think of it right now because I got a lot of things on my mind. You know, I got a lot of things to think about. How's my day? How's your day? How's your day, Stephanie T? My day's good. I was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to this bad boy all day. Got a lot of work done. Got some training in. Trying to keep strong. Trying to keep strong like bones. So you have good protein and good calcium. Good for bones. Good for bones. Yeri, Stephanie, Camacho, here to Jace. Yay. I'm so happy that you came to the stream. So just keep popping into that bad boy. Sorry, I had to take care of some business. I got business to take care of. You don't need to know. You don't need to know what kind of business I'm involved in, okay? All you gotta know is that I do the things that I gotta do to make these monies. That's all you gotta know. Hi, Mama Anna. Ana Gonzalez. Oh, boy. Correction, you've been watching too much Sopranos, and I've just been secondhand smoking that stuff. It's a good show, though. I mean, I understand. Like, I understand completely why it, maybe had revolutionized television when it did, because, yeah. Sopranos, good show. I'm glad I got my ladies here, and I'm glad Jerry Stephanie Camacho's on, because this was actually her idea. The theme of today's live stream came from her brain. And I gotta say that just dive into it. Dive into what? The Sopranos? You want to dive into The Sopranos? There's probably so many just beautiful video essays made about The Sopranos. Like everything you could possibly think of for that bad boy. That is the theme for today, friends. The movies that shaped me. Your friendly neighborhood, Heyoka, Dimitri. That is the theme. That's what we're doing. Now, oh God, I'm old. I'm very, very old. I'm very, very stupid old. Hold on first. If we're gonna dive right in, hold on. If we're gonna do this, I gotta get my Oklahoman whiskey. My whiskey tastes like a piña colada. So the topic of today's live stream came from my sister, and I was talking to my lovely partner and my mom at the same time, and I asked like, what would be so it came from my baby older sister. My baby older sister said, hey, how about this particular topic, which is movies that had shaped you? And okay, so here's the story of how I went about this particular thing. I immediately wrote down every movie that I happened to love. And real quick side note, she gave me the parameters of when I was very, very little, cognizant enough to enjoy and understand a movie, but then gave me a cap off at around 15 years old. That's like developmentally. So from very little to 15 years old. And well, so that's just around the 2000 area. So the areas of the 2000s. So I have a lot of history to play with as far as for the cinema that I was watching as a youngster. But I realized that if that's the approach I took with it, I actually misunderstood. If I would have just gone with that particular way of thinking, I would have absolutely misunderstood what she was talking about. Because she didn't just say like, oh, your favorite movies growing up, because that's a list, and that's a great list, and I would love to talk about them, but that's not what she asked. That is not what she asked whatsoever. She asked, what are the movies that made you into who you are today? And I was like, oh, that's pondersome. I have to actually think about that. And then I retreated into my office, into a little fetal position, because I had to go through so many years of little baby big-headed Dimitri and be like, what made me who I am today? The absolute successful failure or failing success. Why is that this? So before I go into it, I'm gonna ask our chatter, everybody who's in the chat, go ahead and put in some of your things that, not your favorite movies from when you're little, but movies that you'd say probably had a profound effect on you when you were little. Throw that into the chat. I'll see those and we can comment on those a little bit. Throw and don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to throw in those comments. I will, if I don't get to them, I'm sorry, but go ahead and throw it in the chat anyway, because it's fun. It's fun to read and go back and see what y'all are saying in there. Okie dokie, go ahead and throw them in there. Think about it though. Think about your answer. If you don't think about your answer, it'll be disingenuous and nobody will believe you. And it'll be lame. And then it'll be on the internet forever and everybody will laugh at you. Do you understand? Stephanie T says the Twilight list. The Twilight is on my list because it's shaped the emo kid. I mean, you are pretty emo. Just a little emo. A little emo partner just going in. Really liking those Edward Cullen vibes. Edward Cullen. So I will say I'm not necessarily happy to report, but Twilight was before the parameters of what I was given. Twilight was made way after I was 15. So, yeah. All right, friends. Here we go. I'm gonna transition you to my little goofy ass slideshow here. Whoop. Ugga beep, ugga beep, ugga beep. Okay. Okay, so here's a lovely little, you see right there, Google schmoogle, right there, a little bit of Google, a little bit of schmoogle. We're gonna start, okay? We're gonna start, and I need you to understand these are in no necessary specific order. I don't think. No, not in any particular order. Just stuff that I was kind of wrapping my mind around for this bad boy. All right, so movie number one. Oh, the other one is not up here. Hold on. No. You can't look yet. You can't look yet. Boop. Nope, you can't look. Whoop. Got to throw in the other one real quick. Right now. You have to wait and see. Oh, do they have the original? Oh, yes, they do. Cool. I was like, if they have the original art that came when I saw it, yeah. Okay, cool. You gotta wait and see, because if you're not and Oompa Loompas, if you're not patient, you will get hit by a car. Okay, we're back. Okay. Whoop. All right, so okay, that's not as cool of a Google. We're going back. Hold on real quick. Boop. Yeah, I like the guitarra right there. Aw, who else is looking at this and is getting like Coco vibes? What is this supposed to be? Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Oh, did anybody else know that it was Asian Pacific American Heritage Month? I didn't know that was this month. Cool. Is it a uke? A ukulele? Maybe because of the grass reeves. Okay, all right. But I don't know why. When I saw it, I got Coco vibes. In that movie messed me up. But that was way past the time of the topic. Okay, this is Coco messed me up. And I gotta say, fuck Ernesto de la Cruz. I've said that in many other videos. Fuck Ernesto de la Cruz. You know Ernesto de la Cruz? Fuck that fool. He can suck the dirtiest butt, because Ernesto de la Cruz was a horrible person. Although apparently also there is another movie that is probably let's just say Disney took some liberties when it comes to the idea, but I think there's a movie called The Book of the Dead that's pretty much very similar to Coco. Obviously probably not as well known, clearly, because it didn't have like the Disney name behind it, but you know, hey, it's okay. It's all right. We do what we got. We're what we got. And so shout out to that movie, because I saw parts of it, but I got to see it because a lot of people were saying that it's even better than Coco, and that's a high bar. It's a lovely bar, but just saying. All right, here we go, my lovelies. We are starting with number one, and click. Never ending glory hole. La da 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 dee da da do. Never ending story. This movie made me cry like a bitch. Oh my god. Well, okay. So, never ending story. That would be, so we're kicking it off with the never ending story. Arguably one of the greatest fantasy films ever made. It's crazy. It's wild. I love it. I love it to death. Oh, little Falcor. Would you scratch my ear? And I know you probably think I'm being silly, but I think he does that in the movie somewhere. He's like, you scratch behind my ear. It was great. But yeah, the never-ending story. It might have been the start of when I started really enjoying the fantasy genre. But I must say that the fantasy genre when I was younger was much more traumatizing than it is now. Anybody who was born before 1990 probably knows what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the old fantasy movies. This, Willow, oh my goodness, Labyrinth, what's the one with Tom Cruise and oh my goodness, the one with Tom Cruise and Tim Curry. He's the big demon looking dude. Oh my goodness, that's gonna bug me. That's gonna bug the crap right out of me. Tom Cruise, Tim. Legend. That's what it is. Legend. Yep. Movies like that, and then don't even get me started on all the crazy B-movie fantasies that you could watch on the old video stores, because those things were scary, and there was a lot of nudity and a lot of breasts and a lot of very borderline crazy Game of Thrones things going on. People back then did not give a fuck. All right? Says, hello, had to grab my charger, so I had to go. Falcor. Yep, you remember Falcor? Yeah. And the Rockbiter. The Rockbiter. Oh, we're going to get to that comment right quick, Mama Anna, with Psycho. I'm surprised Mamita went to go... My mom went to go see Psycho. I mean, relatively toned down compared to scary movies later in the genre. Obviously, not as much like gore, but way more psychological. But yeah, yes, it is called Legend, and yeah. And no, I don't think Miss Allison Stepty has ever seen the Neverending Story. So let me tell you why I chose this lovely story that never ends. Well, it's the first time I realized that your little guy Dimitri is the really big Sally, Susan, Samuel, Samantha's sensitive guy. I'm a real sensitive guy, all right? You know why? Because when spoilers, I mean, it kind of is a spoiler, but not really. But you see this picture right here? That's Atreyu. That's Artax. Artax, the horse, gets sucked into a swamp of despair. And it's the first time I remember that I can recall as a young kid fully absorbing, because I had seen the movie before, just kind of like just watching it, but with the kids ADD or whatever you might want to say. I remember watching that. But for some reason, there was one day in the afternoon, it was on, or we put it on the video or something like that. And I fully absorbed that scene, and I cried so hard. I ran into the kitchen, and I don't know if my mom and I don't remember if my sisters were there when I did that. I don't think my dad was home, but I cried so freaking hard. Okay, you want to see this? I came in and I was like, My mom was like, "What is your problem?" I was like, "The horse." The horse. I was not okay, but I really do think that was the start of my ability to just let myself. It was the start of my ability to let myself be secure in my masculinity and in my personhood, to know that I cry during movies. And it's true. It's one of the few times like I will just allow myself in movies, TV, heck, even in video games. I don't know if I've gotten there with books. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Nope. I don't think I've gotten there with books just yet. I might have. No, I don't. No. I remember being like thrown and actually being scared at some of the books that I read, but I never. Nothing's brought me to tears quite yet. But it's okay because I got to read more, so I'm sure it'll happen, guaranteed. But movies, television, and some video games have actually initiated that response for me. But yep, never-ending story messed with me, and it let me know that I'm a sensei. I'm a sensei, just like JD. Okay, and one of those one of the surgeons that Turk was about, that he got the hugs. Okay, he got the hugs, and yeah. So yeah. Jerstech match. They know it's Artex. Yeah. Stati says, "Oh yeah, I know of that scene and why I won't watch the movie. No, thank you. Understandable. Yeah, this was the response." Jerry Stephen Kamash says that was you for ET. Yes. And here's the thing: I didn't see I don't think I saw ET until I was very much older, and when everybody was making fun of my older baby sister about what happened during ET. I'm sitting there going like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Of course you're gonna cry, cause poor E.T.'s sitting there all cold and looking like a weird powdered donut near the stream, and he's dying. This poor little alien creature is just dying, and they got him in the little thing, and Elliot tries to he's like, no, he wants to go home, and E.T.'s like, yeah, you're gonna cry. Because that shit is sad. And because Steven Spielberg is a brilliant filmmaker. Why wouldn't you cry over the E.T. thing? Of course. I get it. And I reserve all judgment for people who cry. Like, I don't know. Like, if you cry... maybe it depends on what you cry at. Like, I don't know. If you're watching... if you're watching Willy Wonka and when Augustus falls into the pipe and falls into the chocolate and he goes up the pipe and you're crying about that, I mean, I might be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, he's okay, he's just in chocolate. But if you're just like Augustus, he doesn't know, he can't help it. But like, I don't know. But if a scene is definitely that is the point and you're crying about it, I completely understand. It's okay. I do not pass judgment on something like that. But I really do think that point blank, this is most definitely this was probably the point where I was like, oh, yep, that particular chakra inside my body, that little well was bursted open so hard yep, that little well is bursted open hard of my ability to just allow and feel things in scenes, and fill things in movies and TV and stuff. Like, is that not the magic of cinema and storytelling in general, that you allow yourself to be dipped into the river of the story and enjoy and feel things you wouldn't normally feel in your mundane everyday lives? That's exactly what this is supposed to be. That is what's supposed to happen when you know you're supposed to live and feel in ways that you are not privy to in the day-to-day up and down trudge of non-fictional life. I suppose the world would be quite dreary if there wasn't such things to participate in, escape in, to learn from in. I suppose life would be, well, something just short of a nightmare. Which is obviously subjective. And I do say it's obviously just something dull. Life would be eating without flavor. It would be sustainable. It would be bland. And that's not fun. Who wants that? Steffi T says, so me crying, I imagine. This was my exact reaction when reading Charlotte's Web and figuring out Charlotte dies. My mom thought I was dying. You know what? That part, yes. And I remember we watched the cartoon, because when we saw it in school, I don't know if the movie had came out yet, the live action movie, but we saw the cartoon, and that was sad. That was sad. And Steffi T also said, "Nah, Augustus is dead as fuck." Yeah, Willy Wonka didn't care if Augustus died. He just shot through that hole. He shot him out the tube, and he went just like out through the roof and just landed somewhere on his neck. Just fucking fell because he's Augustus. That's messed up. You can't blame the kid. Like, I don't know. If I'm giving any type of slack to Augustus, like, I get it. Like, you know, I know it's been said in the thing that in the original, the river of chocolate looked like diarrhea, which it kind of does. It's like this weird reddish color. And then the remake, they made it look more like melted chocolate, which looks more appetizing. But aside from that, you know, the fact that I'm sure like that beautiful aroma of Willy Wonka chocolate is coming in and he's drinking. So I'm like, I don't know. The little fat diabetic in me would be like, I get it. I probably would have wanted to taste a little bit too, or at least ask Mr. Wonka, hey, can I use one of your little flower cups and like dip it in and maybe like drink some of the chocolate? That'd be. Can I try some, Mr. Wonka? Like, that's all Augustus had to do. Maybe Mr. Wonka would have actually appreciated him if all the kids weren't just some variation of a little shit. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get my Floridian whiskey. My whiskey tastes like a like a beer. All right, so there we go. That's my first one. That's the first one that goes in. There's a never-ending story. Highly recommend, friends. Beautiful practical effects. A very, very engaging story. A nice little story within a story. A little bit of meta context going in. With brilliant filmmaking as far as for I didn't know this until a friend of mine said that he had visited this one of the studios. I think it's in Germany. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's in Germany where they shot some of the things for the Neverending Story, and things that you thought were big were little, superimposed and like cross cut to make it. I think it was the wolf that there's a freaky ass wolf thing that Atreyu has to like talk to, and it's like scary. He's like, I'm gonna rip you apart. It's cool, but you know, just masterful filmmaking and the most beautiful amount of 80s cheese that you would find in a fantasy story of that time. Brilliant, absolutely friggin' brilliant. So yeah, haven't seen Never Ending Story 2 in a long time, but I remember it being pretty good. It's pretty good. So I see we have 4 viewers. Does it mean we have 4? If we're missing chatters, don't be shy. If you're out there, say hello. Throw in. I put this out there to all my chatters. Throw in your takes on the topic. Any movie that really shaped and affected you as a youngster, and by that I mean maybe like I said, open the different part of your personality that you never had that you were never privy to, or one that you started absorbing all kinds of stuff in there. All right, of this list, let's see, what am I gonna go with next? Oh yeah, okay, I know exactly where I'm going. Ooh, da 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 da. That was more like the James Bond. Anyway, The Predator, 1984, 1987. No, 87. I remember that because it was the year after I was born. Predator. Oh my goodness! Is that the original? No, it's not the original. I think that's from Predators. Yeah, that picture is from Predators. No, but this bad boy, that's the original design. That's Kevin Peter Hall. Rest in peace, good sir. Oh man, Predator. Here's Sophie Camacho says the chocolate river did look like crap. It did, right? Like it just looked like a big old pile of slightly bloody, runny diarrhea. Terrible, and I almost guarantee that's just like that's a budget thing. Like it would have, I don't know, maybe they could have made it look a little more brown, but maybe with the film quality, and if they made it look more brown, maybe it looked on camera, it looked more like sewage. So I don't know. Who knows? Stuffy T says Titanic and Twister also hella traumatized me, and I became fascinated with the event and made me really terrified of death from catastrophic events / natural disasters. That is checks. That frickin' checks. Because, well, Titanic, not necessarily as a catastrophic event, very tragic. Yes, you know, the hubris of going in, you know, if that story checks out like we did in James Cameron, and Leo DiCaprio just did nothing to stop it, which I think he could have. I think he should have. Come on, Leo. You were able to stop a meteor from hitting Earth. You could have stopped the Titanic from sinking, sir. Like the catastrophic event of Titanic, and that's just, you know, you're succumb to the, you know, to the folly of man and the engineering and stuff. But natural disasters, yeah. As a little side note for that one, the Twister got me because for some reason I used to be really afraid of tornadoes. I think I've said this in a past stream, but I used to be really afraid of tornadoes, which makes all the sense in the world, seeing as how I lived in Southern California pretty much all my life. But the tornado, the natural disaster of a tornado is so freaking fascinating. One of the quotes from the movie is like, you know, is there an F5? Everybody stops and everybody's like, oh man, you know, it's fucking thing. And the poor woman is like, none of you, the F5 would be like, and he's like, the finger of God. And I was like, ding! It's the Mac Daddy of all the Twisters, right? And the only one who's seen it is Helen Hunt. But yeah, no, I understand. I think after that movie, I don't know if maybe that movie started the trend of like the natural disaster films like Volcano, and then later it became like there was like Volcano, and then maybe there was like a hurricane. I remember there was a sci-fi movie called like Night of the Twisters or something like that. And then Earthquake. Oh no, I guess maybe Earthquake way back when, the 70 something. Yeah, wasn't there a movie? Mom, Steph, if Dad's out there, like anybody out there who remembers the movie Earthquake. I don't remember when that movie came out. But yeah, like the natural disaster movie was up big for a while. Steph AT says, I had no business watching those movies when I was like 7. Yeah, there's a lot of movies. I saw this movie when I was very young. My parents were terrible, weren't you? Yeah, I was irresponsible parents letting me watch Predator when I was like, I don't know, 5. And Twister does have my boy. And a lot of people are in that film. 2 of them have passed on, unfortunately, but the boy that she's referring to, one of my favorite actors of all time, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace, good sir. You were easily one of the greatest to ever do it. And let's not, and I repeat, let us not sleep on Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton was awesome. Game over, man. Game over, man. But next one on the list, Predator. I don't know if it's unique, but I am just a little strange when it comes to, in a way, I was always rooting for the Predator. If anybody out there is a fan of the franchise, I know it took a dip, but if anybody out there is a fan of the franchise, I was always kind of rooting for the Predator, or rather, I wanted to be the Predator. And it actually, in thinking about it, made me realize that I love characters like this. And you didn't know, I didn't know at the time, being a little kid, and I hadn't quite been involved in the arts when I was really familiar with this film, but this is a very, very respectable and beautiful way to make a living. Most people would be like, yeah, I'm gonna be Arnold, I'm gonna be the superstar and everything like that. And, you know, Carl Weathers, you know, and no shade toward any of them, right? Arnold has made one hell of a career. Carl Weathers, rest in peace again, good sir. One hell of a career for himself. But like they were the faces, they were the you know, the heroes of a lot of things, the protagonists, right? But my man, the Predator, and character work, I realized that I really loved, and it wasn't until I was much older, but I was really, really drawn to something. And my man, Kevin Peter Hall, was so good at trying to, there's footage of him on YouTube. There's footage of him on YouTube, just like he's in the costume, he's kind of working it out and everything, and he's trying to get some, like, okay, how would this creature move? And you see little glimpses of it, you know, when he's like running, and like as he leaps, and he kind of like squats down, and how he likes to just move his body. I think he made some kind of mention, is like, oh, it's like, I think of it kind of like a dancer or a ballerina of some kind, where I'm trying to access my whole body to make it make sense in this suit. And one of his most like iconic thing is like after he goes like, and then he does this thing, takes off the mask. Like, maybe it was just fluff. Maybe he was in his head just like, oh, dude, just do it. It's so freaking cool. But like, it just, that little maneuver of taking off the helmet made so much sense of this thing getting ready to battle to the death with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think it really was kind of a start of how I really loved playing characters. I never really was, you know, who knows? My career is so baby. It's not even like, I would still say part of my career is fetal. But like, that's a cool drawing. That's a really cool drawing. I like that. I would save that and make it like a background thing or something. I became fascinated with like character work. Never was too much on myself. Never really was too much being like, yeah, me. I'm the product. No, I always used to like doing voices, doing different movements. If I ever played this game with friends, I wanted to be the Predator. I know there's a video game. It's right there. Hey, go figure. Predator Hunting Grounds. I think, yeah, is that the video game? Yeah. There's a game where you kind of do like a thing where in little levels you go and try and do a mission and the Predator is stalking you. So it's either you guys kill the Predator collectively and take care of the mission and retreat before he blows up, or he annihilates the team. I would have always opted to be the Predator, but yeah, I think it really put into perspective my love of character work and connecting your performance to the body that I didn't understand. I just knew I was drawn to it being very young. And also he's just cool. I was so happy for the I was so happy to learn of an expanded universe. Like people really was like, oh hey, there's a whole wiki thing of like, hey, the Predators are these creatures called the Yauja. That they're a hunting based race, and they have beef with the xenomorphs from Alien, and they got class tiers and different kinds of things and everything. So yeah, so there's we go with that one. So that's kind of number 2. Yeah, let's go to chat, see what's going on right here for the chat. E.T. was where I learned that my super empathetic nature was an embarrassment to others around me, and I had to find a way to hide it. I know now that it was because those people didn't understand. I would say you don't have to hide that. You don't have to hide that. That's a skill, and frankly, a much needed one given the world. Apparently, empathy is a weakness now. I heard that through the grapevine somewhere. Apparently empathy is a weakness, and then we should get rid of it. And I say, bull to the shit. Nope. And I would say, like, okay, let's get real deep with this. I want to get real deep with this, and we're talking as far as for like someone who's unrealistically but hyper empathetic is Will Graham from the Hannibal series. Anybody who knows like the Hannibal lecture series, either the books or the media, the live action visual medium. Anna Gonzalez says 1974 earthquake. It was traumatizing. I gotta check that out. I don't know if I ever saw Earthquake. And she says, as a 4-year-old, it's really hard to process and navigate. I imagine she's talking about the empathy part. All right. So like what Will Graham does in the Hannibal is it does it really kind of dives way more into it in a much more modern and probably a deeper way in the show with Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen is like, yeah, empathy is really tough for people to understand. Everybody thinks he's crazy. And the only one who understands, ironically enough, is a psychopath who doesn't necessarily have any empathy. I don't know if Hannibal wastes his time with empathy. Not that. No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect to describe Hannibal Lecter. He is much smarter than that. I would say Dr. Lecter, he can't feel empathy, but he understands and knows its utilization and what it means for like the human condition. Yeah. And that's why he gravitates toward Will, you know? And maybe there might be a thing where maybe Will sometimes wishes he could be on a more psychopathic level like Hannibal is, but Hannibal finds his empathy, you know, extremely fascinating. And maybe there's a slight part of him that's like, hey, like I want to it would be interesting to feel that, wouldn't it? Dr. Lecter. Dr. Hannibal Lecter. But yeah, no. So I say, yeah. Just because people don't understand doesn't mean you have to hide your empathy. It's a skill, and if you know how to wield it, just like a specific type of weapon, or and I don't mean weapon like it has to be destructive, but like if you know how to wield it, like let's not say weapon, a tool. Let's say a tool. I think it can be. It's something that the world absolutely needs. Yeah. And for me, with Predator, it was so well made that I found myself rooting for him and not Arnold. I mean, it's true. I know it was hell to make this frigative film, filming in an actual jungle. I know a lot of them probably got sick, and I think the guy who played Pancho, I think there's a story where he got his foot stuck in a bunch of the the jungle, the big fire ants or the big killer ants. Got his foot stuck there. He had to be taken away. Yeah, that production was crazy. And Jean-Claude Van Damme was gonna be the Predator for a little bit, and the design was so different. Let me see if I can find the original design that Jean-Claude Van Damme was gonna do. Okay, here it is. Yeah. So here's what the Predator was supposed to look like. And I think I've said it before. I said it somewhere that he looks like a Beetleborg. I don't know if y'all remember that show. I think it was coming off of the success of Power Rangers. Maybe I could be wrong, but it was Beetleborgs. That's what it looks like. And I get it. It was the first sketch. Oh, hey, and there he is. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Right there. Looking at the original. Look, he's like, come on, I can be the Predator too. I don't know. That was not Jean-Claude. I can be the Predator too. You know, I'm the Predator now. I'm French. Jean-Claude. I haven't heard him talk in a long time. Well, I'm trying to think of a line that he says. Stay away from his right leg. Away from his right leg. That's how Sean Lee surprised him. I'm quoting Bloodsport. Quoting Bloodsport right now. But yeah, there he is. And I get it. You know, no, I'm not even shitting on the design. They were figuring it out. And it was the first. It was the beta test. All right, it was the first test. But then, you know, they got this brilliant thing from that. So it served a beautiful purpose. I would like to say, let's see, is it the Badlands? Yeah. Okay, so anybody out there? I'm putting this out there on the internet because sometimes I don't like internet discourse. I don't like what people have to say. I don't like how people say it on the internet. Because people are ridiculously, for lack of a better word, cruel, adding another word, and stupid. Predator Badlands. I recommend seeing the trailer. Go ahead and check out the trailer if you like, especially if you're a fan of the franchise. But they're making a new Predator movie. This is the movie, not the show. This is the movie. New Predator movie. And I'm excited. I want it to do really well. But it was one of my major sort of considerations, and sort of moved into a gripe territory with the recent Predator movie, Prey. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it was awesome, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the design of the Predator in that movie, and this design for the Predator is getting so much flack and hate. But the problem is, and I don't mind that because I'm not a fan of the design, and there's a few other Predators, I think, like you can tell, like there's different ones. I don't know if that's like a hybrid. Is that his mask? I can't tell. There's new designs coming in for different types of Predators. Now, I'm all for having like, you got that opinion, right? I'm all for being like, I'm all for you saying, hey, I'm not a fan of the design. It doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that. Maybe because of this particular thing or that. Absolutely. But when you start coming out there spewing venom and all this stupid shit that has nothing to do with the project of the film, you're just trying to get clicked or baited, or you're trying to bait people into you're rage baiting them and trying to get them all pissed off for whatever reason. I don't know why you do that. That, not a champion of. I will never be a champion of that. So I'm going to do my best to maybe give an example. The reason I'm not the biggest fan of this, with the caveat, okay? Let me tell you right now, friends, let me actually humble myself as far as for what I'm about to say, with the understanding that I don't have all the information. This was just my initial impression. I wasn't a big fan of this because something about like the texture and whatever substance goes on to the Predator and everything going on with how it's built and how it looks in camera and how it presents itself didn't seem as efficient as it did back in the late 80s and early 90s with like Predator 2 and everything, because those Predators in that one still looked amazing. This one, I don't know why it doesn't have texture. Like if you look at the old Predator, you saw the old pictures of the Predator. You know, I think they said that the Yautja tend to like to hunt in warmer climates, right? Let's see if I can like get close. Oh, here we go. So like the Predator has, you see he's like sweating. There's much more the seams. Like I can see the magic. Here's the thing, like I can see the magic in this picture. And it looks the texture looks more rubbery, right? It looks like it's like a thing, whereas you know the old timely Predator, you know, is looking, that looks like a creature that could exist. They gave him more substance and they gave him texture, and they made him look affected by the environment. That is my rationale toward like, oh, I wasn't the biggest fan of the one from Predator Badlands. Like that's a cool, like, and that's a really cool, like, you know, his awesome mandibles are there and all this stuff. It's cool. And this is the Predator from Prey, I think. Is that? Yeah. That's not from Badlands. That's from Prey. That's the Predator from Prey. I wasn't as big a fan because it didn't... I couldn't... I was a little lost because I couldn't tell if this was... I couldn't tell if it was like the Predator species, like a close offshoot of the Predator species. So like you know, like in movies you have like, so we're humans here on Earth, we're Earthlings, humans here on Earth. But then if you have like Martians or if you have humanoid creatures on a planet similar to Earth, they would sort of look like us, but maybe be a little different. So I didn't know if maybe that's what they were going for for this particular Predator in the movie Prey. But I just didn't know. I didn't know if it was supposed to be a different offshoot of the Predators, of the Yautja they call them. So those are my critiques and my considerations for that. And I'm not taking away anything from the production design or the makeup crew or the people who had to make all that. Absolutely not, because this shit is hard. The business is hard. And to try to make things and get the approvals and get people invested, that's difficult, okay? So as a filmmaker and an actor, I know how that shit goes. Those are just my considerations to that. Now, again, like I said before, I don't know the context and I don't know the story. I know that there's echoings that this particular Predator right here is like a really young Predator, like an adolescent, potentially like quote-unquote teenage Predator. So that's why he looks very young and maybe not as textured. He has his hair a certain way. It's like tied back, which I'm actually really cool for. But like again, I just don't know if we're talking about a different type of species or if we're talking an offshoot of the predator species. That's they look a little different, but they're still kind of like the same clans. Maybe it's like the predator world, but some predators went off to different planets and they evolved differently. Like there's a whole lore behind this alien species. Anyways, that was a big old rant. All that to say, stop spewing stupid ass hatred and venom and just stupid. Stop putting stupid on the internet. Jesus Christ, friends. There's a way to be constructive and to tell your considerations and things without being, a freaking dickbag. Come on. Okay, we're going back to the thing. Sorry. That was a big old rant. That was a huge rant for the Predator Badlands. But, yeah, those are my considerations for the Predator Badlands. So stop. Stop, guys. Stop. You're making my elbows hurt. All right? Stop with the stupid assness. You're smarter than that, and you're better than that. You can do it. I believe in you. Going back to the chats now. Jerry Stevie Camacho said, oh, hell no. And that is not our Predator. I mean, yeah. So, I understand it's not the Predator. And I don't know if you're referring to... I don't know if you're referring to Jean-Claude Van Damme's original, like the original design, the Beetleborg design, or if you're talking about this particular one. But I mean, they've gone through so many. Even the Predator from, obviously it's a completely different being, but like the Predator and Predator 2 still looked relatively similar to the original. Many understand being traumatized. Understand being traumatized by natural disaster movies because those are made in partial reality. The it could happen mentality. Oh yeah. As far as for natural disaster movies, I completely understand those. It could happen. Predator falls under that category. Because one day you could be asleep and all of a sudden you hear like a and just as long as you're not armed, just don't be armed. If you see a predator and you have a knife or a gun, don't be stupid and don't be a hero. Put it down. Offer him some cake or some candy. That's why that kid lived in the second one, right? Want some candy? And he's like, want some candy? Want some candy? Like, don't be stupid because you're not winning a fight with a predator, especially with a fully trained, realized predator. You're not doing it. You'll thank me later. So that's my spiel on Predator, friends. A movie that, yeah, I got into. I think it might have been a specific origin for character work, and I'm proud of it. All right. I think the most famous one who does like motion capture and stuff is Andy Serkis. You know him as Smeagol from The Lord of the Rings. I especially love him as Caesar from the new Planet of the Apes movies. Not the most recent one, but the trilogy that came out. Another one that's very, very I always forget his name, and I love him. Oh my goodness, Doug Jones. Yes, my man pretty much makes his living as being characters. As being character actors. This is like part of his resume. The dude's incredible. And I can't, like he's Billy from Hocus Pocus. And I'm sorry, I always laugh. Always. I never don't laugh. And don't get me wrong, friends. If people out there in internet world, anybody in this chat, if you know any other awesome character actors that they make themselves up and they do incredible things, throw them in. I'm sure I could probably think of more, but I'm live here. I'm doing a show. I'm doing a thing. All right. Going to the chat real quick. She good. Steffi T says, preach. Yeah, I like the things. La Bomba and Forrest Gump heavily shaped my music interest. Oh, my goodness. Well, perfect. Because that is a great segue into another one. La Bamba played by Lou Diamond Phillips. My goodness, La Bamba. I will say, I don't know if I can necessarily spend too much time on La Bamba because this is more for my family's understanding, but I apparently was really in love with this movie as a baby. I would hear the business, and apparently I was in my little diaper, and I would hear the song, and I would start dancing to. I don't know if it was necessarily La Bamba or if it was, well, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go, little darling. And so it actually escaped me why I liked this movie for a while. If I'm being honest. It might have shaped just like, maybe, you know what, maybe it did. I'm speculating at this point. Maybe it just shaped my rhythm. It's the reason I have pretty damn good rhythm. La Bamba can do that. But actually, I appreciated it more as I got older. Shout out to Isai Morales, who, in my opinion, gives one of the best cinematic screams at the end of the movie. For those of you who don't know the story of La Bamba, it's the story of Richie Valens and his very, very quick shot up to fame. Richie Valens was part of the people who dominated the 50s rock and roll culture. Him with the Big Bopper, and I forgot the gentleman, and tragically died in a plane crash. It was messed up. But Isa Morales plays his brother. Really good arc in the story of being like kind of like a, you know, the family screw up and everything, but you know, he's near the end, he's trying to get his life together from what I remember. And when he finds out about his brother's death, and his mom is like sitting there, and I remember him working on a car, and I think she's inside, she comes out and she's like, not my Richie, and like, you know, he just can't believe it. And he walks over to like a bridge, and he just lets out that guttural and like almost savage, like, Richie, and it fades. I think it cuts to them like running up a hill, and Richie has his guitar and stuff. Like, the reason I appreciate that is because as an actor on the page, if that's how it's written, that is, it's weird to see that, like, oh, I'm gonna go to this bridge, and Richie's brother screams, Richie, you gotta make those words make beautiful sense on film. And he did. Knocked it out of the park. But yeah, I remember this. I remember that being a thing. So I think something about La Bamba just drew me to it. And maybe I'll let that be. I will let that continue to be a mystery, my friends. I'll let that continue to be a mystery as long as I'm here, because I don't know. Something about it drew me as a baby. Go to figure. You know, I didn't have the intellectual capacity to be like, oh, you know, I really like the cinematography and the performances are really stellar. I understand all the nature of the conflict between the brothers. Like, I didn't know that shit as a baby. You know. My mom. Great soundtracks for La Bamba and Forrest Gump. I mean, Forrest Gump almost seems like a I don't want to say a cheat, but like it's like a combination album, because you go through, like, Forrest Gump, you go through what Forrest goes through 4 or 5 decades, and you know it's music from every decade, so that's awesome. My man says, we enjoy watching you dance in front of the TV. I don't know why I did, but I did. Never get that image of me dancing on the floor of my diaper and his flying guitar. Hey, cousin, what's up, cuz? Yes, chef. Yes, chef. And his flying guitar. Yeah, it was Buddy Holly. So it was. So correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Go ahead and throw them in. And again, throw in those movies, chat. I want to hear them, because I want to react to them as best I can. If I miss it, it doesn't matter. Throw them in anyway, because I love the conversation. So it was Richie, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly. Hence, the day the music died. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Yep. Your mom and sister's crying like babies when mom cries when he dies. I mean, yeah. Again, like, Jerry Steffi Camacho, you know, that empathy of like a mom and or anybody who can understand like a mom moving and losing, you know, and to have to, you know, if you think about it, to have to hear it over a radio, like authorities didn't come, you know, maybe like a phone call from a loved one or even the hospital, you hear it on the radio. That's how it went. That I don't know if that's how it's played out, if that's how it actually played out in real life, but as far as for the what happens in the movie, to just have like a broadcast being like, oh, and by the way, unfortunate news today on a plane crash, holding the bodies of Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly. Like, that's gotta suck. That's gotta suck so hard. So, you know, she just. I remember that. I might have to rewatch La Bamba, so I can maybe take my little baby self and connect it with my adult self and just try to be like, oh yeah, I understand. Stevie T says Moulin Rouge and Chicago created the musical theater gal that I am. Oh, I mean, that's almost like I would say anybody who had musical inclinations, you almost had no choice, because Chicago was awesome. I saw that in theaters, and it was a revelation for it just I think at the time it did a musical theater movie so different, because it was like, it was a little meta but still like a theater show, but not really, because it was still very cinematic with great performances and great music. But unfortunately, yeah, Chicago came out past the parameters of today's particular topic, but it's okay, because like, yeah, it was great. And Moulin Rouge, what a trip. I think if you Moulin Rouge, if you're not vaguely familiar, they don't want to, because yeah, Moulin Rouge is crazy. But yeah, so La Bamba, unfortunate day, the story of the day the music died of one of our greats, man, Richie Valens. Why can't we keep nobody, man? Like Pitbull, everybody out there, keep doing your thing. Shakira, do your thing out there, man, because like we got Richie Valens, guys, and they got Selena's, guys. Everybody out there, I saw Selena in IMAX. Guys. And I cried, because when Edward James almost cries, the world cries, guys. Hey, guys, I gotta tell you, like when Selena goes, like, it wasn't cool, you know? It wasn't cool, you know? Like Selena didn't need that. And I think I am definitely of that bar. Like, it is. I got no shade for Beyonce or T Swift or any of the pop divas, but you gotta admit, Selena made some ground, and Selena was definitely always needs to be in the conversation, because she dominated for a while. Selena dominated for a good while before her life was tragically cut very short. Yeah. So Jerry Steffi Camacho says, Minnie, don't hate me. I've never seen either of those movies. She said, what? You love them both. You'd adore Ewan McGregor and Moulin Rouge. Yes. I will say, given what I know for my sister's taste, she might have to like warm up. I would maybe say for you, big sister Steph, watch Chicago first, because I think it's a little more accessible because of like the cinematic musical theater feel of it, but it's really good. Chicago is very good. It's got one of my lady crushes, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Reese Witherspoon, and I was gonna say Gene Hackman, but that's not who's in there. Richard Gere is in that movie. Gene Hackman. That would be great if Gene Hackman was Richard Gere's part. But it's very good. And then, if you're curious, watch Moulin Rouge. It's a very good movie, but it's just like it's kind of heavily like it's a filmmaker's movie. And granted, it was popular with audiences, but like it's kind of like how it's edited and what goes on and certain things is very, very chaotic and kind of in your face. So yeah, but good music and great performances, and captures a tone really well. Cousin Vic Zoot Suit. It's not even on the list, but I gotta say, Zoot Suit was. Do you? Okay, I'm gonna ask if my cousin and anybody out there, if you guys ever seen the original Zoot Suit. If granted, if you've seen the live play, I've actually never seen the live play, but I've always wanted to. But the original, one of the Zoot Suits, excuse me, the movie adapted from the play Zoot Suit, starring Edward James Olmos. Remember, there was a time, Vic. Do you remember a time when we would get home from high school and we would watch Zoot Suit? We would just throw that on almost all the time, at least a couple times a week. I love Zoot Suit, and I think I started getting more of an appreciation for it when I went to like college and started taking like the script analysis and play analysis and all this other stuff. So like yeah, and the stage production is a little different than the movie, but I loved the movie. But yeah, I got so to Miss T, to lovely Allison T. We got to watch Zoot Suit one day because it's great performances, and Edward James Olmos in that movie is what you would call a daddy. He is El Pachuco. He is the spirit of the Zoot Suit, and my man just kills it. I think he almost won the Tony for it way back when. I gotta check. She said, "I can't watch those movies with people because I gotta sing through them." Yeah, she's gonna. I guarantee you, Steph. If you try to watch them with Allison, she's gonna be sitting there like Roger Rabbit with the whole like duck 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 duck. She's gonna be like trying not to sing. That's you. You know it's true. She's gonna be sitting there like. Yep. So maybe watch them with Jerry or me because like I can kind of control myself a little better than she can. Oh, she says she don't mind them singing through you, but she will. If you look over, she's gonna look like. If you tell her not to, just to see how long she goes, she's probably gonna look like Roger Rabbit at the end. It's got Tay Diggs. Don't listen to her, Brown Bear. Your body's fierce, like Tay Diggs. Tay Diggs. Yes, Turk and JD. JD calls Turk Tay Diggs. His body is fierce, like Tay Diggs. God, I love Scrubs. Jason Camacho. Oh yeah, I didn't know, because remember you were already out of the house by the time we were doing like all the Zoot Suit stuff. So I don't remember if you remember Zoot Suit, Big Sister, but that's cool. Yeah. So there we go, friend. That's La Bamba. So we're gonna take a shift. Okay, are you all ready for this? We're gonna take a shift into a brand new territory of a movie that sparked something in me. I don't know why, I don't know where, but like it might have been the first thing that really sparked this particular love of things. And we're coming in, and here a little we're gonna give you a little musical cue going in. Dun 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 dun. Whoa! Mortal Kombat! And this is the original Mortal Kombat, 1995 Mortal Kombat. The first video game movie we ever saw? No. From what I understand, the first video game movie that we ever saw, that I think me and cousin Victor, actually, if you're with us still, cuz I think you and I went to go see Street Fighter? And you and I think we were trying to be more hyped than we actually felt. I remember us looking back on it, I think we were way more confused than hype, because Street Fighter is just, it's the charm is in, I guess maybe they tried, but didn't really understand nor stick with the source material all that well. Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that that's Raul Julia's last film, because my man was just a master, and I love that. But Mortal Kombat, raw! Guys, this movie was a cultural phenomenon. This movie was so fucking awesome. I loved Mortal Kombat. I would watch this shit too much. Annoyingly so, I would watch Mortal Kombat. You remember that? Yeah, see? He remembers. We did, and we were so... we were like, oh, okay, so that's what they're going to do with Blanca. That's a choice. Cool. Yeah, that was crazy. But Mortal Kombat, friends. So here's the reason. Here's the reason. This is my impression of Lord Raiden. Christopher Lambert's Raiden. I don't know. What the hell do I actually sound like? But there's no one else. I can't do... He has such a very unique way of talking. Anyway. Oh, my God. It's Goro. That's Goro right there. Where is he? Hold on. No. Hey, what are we doing? What are you doing? He's like... This Goro's like, is it time? Yes. My man, Shang Tsung. I think my man was Gary Talisa Soto. If... No, that's not how you say his name. My God. Either way, this is cool. My man was Shang Tsung always. He is Shang Tsung, and he was so awesome as Shang Tsung. Mortal Kombat ignited. It might have birthed. It might have gotten birthed by my other one of my other favorite movies from way back when, the Ninja Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles. I know we have like the Michael Bay ones and everything, which weren't too bad. I saw the first one, wasn't too bad, but like the original. This Ninja Turtles, the 1980s version of Ninja Turtles, so awesome. And we used to that was one of our main games. Me and my cousins and maybe my sisters whenever they wanted to. But we loved the cool fighting games and stuff like that. Mortal Kombat ignited in me my love for martial arts. And being so young, I was never really any good at them other than maybe some forms, but like when it came to actual Mortal Kombat, you probably wouldn't have chosen me. But it did open up my eyes to a specific type of action cinema that I really grew to love. That actually led me down the pipeline. So there was like Mortal Kombat, and then I started really becoming obsessed with fight scenes. I just loved action fight scenes. I loved hand-to-hand combat in movies, but I didn't watch them too much in American films. It actually led me down a pipeline to Chinese cinema because I started watching, because not long after this, Jackie Chan blew up. He came over and he did like Rumble in the Bronx. And then he did like Super Cop and all those other stuff. But then following that led me to watch more of his the movies that he would make in China. Was it China? I want to say it was China, or not, like it wasn't. Yes, I want to say I'm not trying to be ignorant about it, but like China, and then and then I got it because then Jet Li blew up, and that was cool. And then when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like the cinema really blew up over here in America. So then I took a deep dive into how they would construct fight scenes versus like American cinema would construct fight scenes, and it was just so cool, and it got me into that. And then way later finalized my love for martial arts and everything when I saw the movie Warrior. Not the Warriors, not like Ting Ting Warriors come out to play. Not that Warrior, the MMA brother movie. But Mortal Kombat was probably the source. Mortal Kombat and a mix of my boys over here, my boys, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was like a mix. Like the seed was planted, but Mortal Kombat definitely like nurtured it into like something more. So that's what got me into like something like that. And I really really enjoy action. That's why I'm a big fan of like the John Wick movies, and I really am a fan of like the Equalizer. But like when you can do, I think there's something, my processing of this would be like, there's something where you can really hit a beautiful foundation and fundamentals of storytelling when you have action. Because you can get, trust me, I'll move on to this, but like at the base, you can do awesome things when it comes to action movies, because then you are the fight is very much physical right there. It's literal right there, but then there is the subtext of the fight, things going on that are very much like, oh my God, if you like Mr. Plinkett says, like, you don't really notice it, but your brain does. Like it's there to make those fight scenes elevate them a little bit. So I just love the action. You know, and then you have like, you know, so you have like action adventure, action fantasy, you know, there's all kinds of subgenres. So it's great. And I love that. I love that so much. And fight scene, and also just fight choreography and stunt work. Don't ever, my friends, the world out there, don't ever sleep on stunt performers and fight choreographers and stunt coordinators. Those people quite literally risk their lives to make this shit. So please enjoy it. And I got it. So I will forever love the action genre. It needs a little pick me up every once in a while. But the reason I brought this up, and like I said, so you can tell, you can be very basic, fundamental, but still very enjoyable with it, or you can do something crazy and completely break the mold when you have a movie like this. Now, I know, especially with my knowledge of certain types of cinema in different parts of the world and everything, but man, when this movie came out, The Matrix, if there was any other excuse I needed to really love the action genre and understand the types of stories you can tell in action, Goosh, badoom, click clack, boom, on the mark, center dot, The Matrix. Really, you know, pulling from Asian cinema with the wire work and everything, but going into some just the cinematography and the design, like everything, every decision made for the design of the film sparked a whole generation that just like you couldn't get away from it. It was like the punk rock revolution of filmmaking and action and everything like that. So you got like the set design, the cinematography, everything in the color grading. You got philosophical things going on. You got religious things going on. You got all these motifs and these connections with the Matrix that were just like, whew, beautiful. And yeah, I'm throwing it in there. We now learn that the filmmakers for this film are trans, and they've made videos about like the original filmmakers, the Wachowskis. It was allegorical to the trans experience, and honestly, when you see it, like the brilliance of it is like it is that. And it's there because they've said so, but also if you're unaware of that, it really could just be a standalone awesome film about science fiction and your mind and all this. It's just about science fiction. It's not about science, but it's just an awesome science fiction, action, philosophical, all these things mixed into one, The Matrix. So boom, just I will never, ever deny it. Ever. Ever. I saw it and I went, whoa. God, one day I'm going to get married and then my wife is going to unfortunately pass away from a mysterious illness. She's going to send me a dog. But then Theon and the guy from season 1 of Daredevil are going to kill that dog. So then I'm going to have to kill like 900 people to avenge my dog. Actually, you know what? I always hated that assessment. Everybody was like, oh, that for a dog? First off, yes. What kind of stupid ass question is that? Yes, of course. I put that to anybody. Is like if somebody just up and brutally and like without remorse just killed your child, wouldn't you go on a psychopathic, on a crazy rampage? Yes. It's the same with dogs. So there's that. But also, I never quite understood. It was like, oh man, like, well, he's killing a lot of people for those dogs. First off, it was not just a dog, and second off, after the first movie, he was trying to stop, and nobody let poor John Wick rest. You know, it's crazy. Okay, going to the chat real quick. Terry Steffi Camacho says the hours spent listening to the soundtrack would break records. Yep, the records that we listened to would break, and we had two of them. We didn't even have the original motion picture soundtrack. We had like a character one for the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. It was like every character got these really kind of goofy ass songs, and then they had the original like, they had the original the song from the soundtrack, the one that blew up, and it was like everybody just loved techno after that point. You know, the dun 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 dun. Test your might. It was great. Yes, I watched it a couple times in theaters. What did you watch a couple times in theaters, Big Cousin? Which one? Was it The Matrix? Were we talking about The Matrix? Or was it Mortal Kombat? Because I'm pretty sure you were probably with me when we saw Mortal Kombat. Jay said The Matrix, absolutely. And she says, Big Sister says, Giselle's impact movie is The Notebook. She said, Uncle Bubba, oh, really? Okay, you need to ask Giselle why The Notebook. Has she been in love? Can she not decide what to do? What do you want? What do you want? Does Giselle have Alzheimer's? What's happening? Why does my little niece... my Nevadan whiskey. It tastes like a lemon drop. Yes, The Matrix. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't remember. Were you with us, Vic, when we saw it with Theo and Thea, with Uncle Richard and Auntie, with our uncle? Yeah, I don't remember because I think we had. I don't remember if we had our cousins with us, or maybe Mylena. I don't remember. But yeah, The Matrix blew the world up. Cinema changed forever after that, and I love it. All right, friends, we're moving along. And I love this. I love the funk out of this. All right. If I may, I'm going to get a little somber right now. Just a tad bit somber with my next choice of movie. Which is weird because when I think about this movie, it really excites me. Because I love it. I love the titular... it's not the titular character, but I love the main antagonist of the film. And I am I'm a fan of the franchise only insofar as I love the original, and therefore I've given a lot of other of the things a chance. So I can understand when it's weaker than others, but I gotta say, a movie that shaped me quite a bit, especially when I was younger. Halloween, 1978, because I really enjoyed Michael Myers. And no, I'm not crazy. And no, I don't wish to go on a killing spree on Halloween night every year to find what apparently was my sister or kill babysitters or anything like that. No, I loved Halloween because when I was a kid, I was bullied a little bit. But I'm not, it would taste a lie to say if I wasn't a bully sometimes. I am not at all proud to say that. But what I am saying is I wasn't allowed to be a bully for very long. Because if I was ever caught, especially by my father, that shit would have been cut down real fast. But I have been the bullier and I have been the bullyee. A little more on the bullyee, but not proud of anything being a bully because kids are stupid and they suck sometimes. But aside from this movie being a horror masterpiece, I felt a sort of kinship to Michael Myers because there was a time, a mixed, when I was in the throes of certain bullying things or feeling out of place or feeling like everybody would make fun of me or something like that, I would sometimes gravitate and be like, I wish I was Michael Myers, then nobody would mess with me. Doesn't necessarily mean I wanted to kill people, but I wish I just had, I think what I really wanted was that aura, so nobody would mess with me. And also, I just thought he was, like, again, character acting. I thought he was cool. The movie, I saw it, I initially saw it all the way through at a friend of mine's house when we were having a sleepover. And his mom was like, are you sure you want to watch this? It's a little scary. We were like, yeah, we got it. It'd be fun. And I gravitated toward Michael Myers. I don't know why I gravitated toward him more than, say, like Jason or Freddy. Yeah, something about Michael Myers. So I fell in love with the franchise, and yeah, that was kind of a thing for a minute, and I loved. I followed Halloween 2. I did not know that Halloween 3 has nothing to do with the Halloween, the Michael Myers Halloween franchise. But then I saw Halloween Curse of Michael Myers and The Return of Michael Myers, and I saw H2O. I saw H2O with my big sister. Then they had like Halloween Resurrections, and I saw the new ones, the revamps of Halloween. It's just, yeah, he's always been my favorite slasher. He's always been my favorite slasher. As far as for like the big, I think the holy trinity of the original classic slashers would be him, Jason, Freddy, if I'm not mistaken. I guess you could say the original slasher would be, well, maybe the original slasher would be Norman Bates. But as far as for like the slasher flick, I think it was Black Christmas. Somebody fact check. Hey, Allison, can you fact check me on that? I think, yeah. I think technically the first slasher flick was Black Christmas. But I don't know if you see the antagonist or like the slasher in that film. I don't know. I don't remember. Huh. Yeah, but I think the original kind of bloody trinity. Jason, Michael, Freddy, and then more have come up on that. So then you have Chucky really being like a prominent figure in there. I would say like Candyman. Candyman was probably much more prevalent than I realized at the time. And then I guess maybe it died off for a little bit. Oh, how can I forget Leatherface? Leatherface, there you go. And then you had Ghostface, but that's not a singular character. That's many characters for the Ghostface persona. Yeah. So, but Michael was probably the one that really popularized it. I think is what most film historians and horror movie buffs would probably say, that Halloween really put the slasher genre into like real fortune and prominence. All right, so going into the chickadee chat, Jessica Marsha, she said, it was a beautiful movie. Don't diss the movie. They died together. Oh, I'm not dissing the movie. I've actually only seen parts of The Notebook, and I only know like the memeable things. So that's why she loves it, is because it's the beauty of the fact that they died together. So at heart, does that mean my little niece Gisele Belli is like a romantic? You are a romantic at heart? Because if so, absolutely, I get it. There are beautiful, beautiful romantic movies out there. I'm not ashamed to say I'm actually quite a fan of P.S. I Love You. I love that film. And another great romantic movie that you'll just absolutely love, Shaun of the Dead. One of the most romantic movies I've ever seen in my life. Shaun of the Dead. Of course, my partner would be like, Michael equals daddy. Yeah, Michael Myers, the mainest daddy. Is Michael more of a daddy than Jason? Victor Tosada says Pet Cemetery made me realize I like movies that scare the shit out of me. Yo, I have to put this in the chat actually because we were talking about it a while back. But so Big Sister and Cousin and anybody else out there who's Pet Cemetery, we used to say that the scariest part of that film was the mother's sister who has spinal meningitis, right? As a youngster, I understand the reason why she was scary because, you know, they did all her makeup and there's that scene where she's like in the corner and she's like, I'm coming for you, Rachel. I'm going to twist your back like mine. And then she like runs toward the camera. She's like, you'll never get out of it again. And I think she did that too. But we were talking about it and I was like, it's kind of messed up because her poor sister had a terrible disease and she was scared of her. And I realized, hey, maybe it's a sign of maturity or growth or something, but like, it's really fucked up what happens to her poor sister. Like she's doesn't know, like she's very, very sick and she's like trying to feed her, but you know, her baby sister's frightened of her. And I get it, but it's really sad if you think about it. And I think Allison was telling me that like in the book it's obviously you hear the sister you hear the mother's Rachel, you hear Rachel's inner thoughts of like, I just wish she would die, and I'm like, that's kind of sad. And I get it because Stephen King is a fucking genius, but like you feel I just had like an empathy surge. I was like, oh man, her poor sister. Like, it's not her fault that she got sick and she, like, you know, it morphed her into what her sister thought was a monster. So, yeah. I love that. I like movies that scare the shit out of me. Like, I understand. And, hey, Pet Sematary has another one of my favorite cinematic yells after the poor kid gets hit and the dad's like, no! Like, that was great. J. Stevie Camacho says the Rob Zombie version wasn't too bad of Halloween. Yes, I agree. I enjoyed the Rob Zombie versions for what they were. I don't fight anybody. I would like or debate, but like I would discuss like why, because you know, and also Rob Zombie just seems like a cool dude. Like I'd hang out with him and Sherry Moon Zombie, and he's just like a fascinating dude. It really wasn't. I enjoyed them. I don't know what she's talking about. What are you talking about? Oh, interesting. 13 Women, first slasher film from 1932. Interesting. I gotta look that up. And then Jerry Civic Camacho says, Pet Cemetery scared me. Her sick, locked away sister haunted my dreams for a while. Yeah. And, you know, hopefully, yeah, you come up with that and remember. And yeah, we were talking about that at Sleep. Peeping Tom, and then Peeping Tom in 1960, and then Psycho in 1960 as well. Interesting. Huh. I wonder what in 13 Women talks about this. I think I've... Oh my God, I wonder if I've heard of that movie in like the top 100, you know, not necessarily scariest films, but like the top 100 films, like 100 most influential horror films of like the of all time or something like that. I feel like I've seen that. Yeah, was that her name? Cousin Zelda, in the things? Yeah. Steph T says Misery was my first Stephen King, and then Pet Sematary, so great. Yeah, as far as for. I don't remember. Did you watch the movies first, or did you read the books? But yeah, Misery is awesome. That's a good one to be your first. Yeah, never. First time I ever had to put a book down because I was too scared to keep going. Yeah, it's. Jerry Stevie Camacho says it's not Zelda's fault, but she is still damn freaky scary. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's conditions that'll do that. It's messed up. But you know what are you gonna do? But see, it wasn't even the thing of like that, but like, you know, the guilt, the guilt that the sacred ground and her psyche, the guilt of feeling that way about her sister is like, I mean, it's understandable, but it is still kind of messed up. So, you know, it's both. It's nuanced. Again, Stephen King, genius. So there we go, friends. That's how we go about with my Halloween one. I love that. So we're coming to a close, sort of. We're coming to the end, friends. And I will say, so this is like upcoming. We're gonna get like the origins of what I do as a performer and everything. Probably the things that really caked on who I might have been at one time. But we're moving on to dun 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 pew dun 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 pew pew. Spaceballs the poster. Spaceballs the Google search. Spaceballs the picture. Spaceballs. And I'm actually okay. So for clarification, it's not necessarily just Spaceballs, but like Mel Brooks. And in this, I'm including this man right here. Jim Carrey. I'm including this man right there because this sort of really influenced my humor as a child. Jim Carrey influenced like how I would act during like comedic things, because let's face it, like when this man came on the scene, it was like he blew up the scene. There's a reason he was like the highest paid actor for the longest time. Comedy and physical comedy in both like in both his understanding and his physicality. Genius. And it progressed, and this was even, I know I got Ace Ventura here, but it was like you know, I knew him originally from In Living Color. Shout out to In Living Color, one of the best sketch shows ever made. But the reason I built like Spaceballs because it was like Mel Brooks films. And I gotta say, wasn't all of them. I didn't really watch like Blazing Saddles until I was a little older. I hadn't seen The Producer since I was much older. Hadn't seen Young Frankenstein all the way through until college, but Spaceballs and Robin Hood Men in Tights were the ones I watched in purposeful perpetuity all the time. Not realizing that I would just love the spoof genre and the parody. You know, and I'm gonna sprinkle in like, you know, loving like Hot Shots and Naked Gun, but just always gravitating toward these films and their style of comedy. Ah, man, I just loved them. You can't deny that Mel Brooks just loved his comedy and like just taking a shit on certain things and just being all and out, just like that type of thing. What I just said doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I'm a little lost. And for one, Rick Moranis, I miss you, sir, and I completely understand. From what I last heard, I'm not sure if he's doing anything else, but like I heard he does a lot of radio up in Canada. So he's still doing radio. I don't know if he's acting anymore or anything. I want to say maybe he also makes music. He might perform. Like his performance is more tied in with a band he might have. I could be wrong. I heard that somewhere. I miss him. And I miss you, sir. Barf! Barf! I'm a mug. Hey, follow the dog. Mug. I'm a mug. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. See? That is a brilliant joke. That is a brilliantly written joke. And I miss him. My man was a gem among gems. And from what I hear tell, a really, really sweet guy. And it's probably my favorite role of his. Probably my favorite role is him as Barf. Maybe, honestly, in a weird way, second to his little role in Home Alone. I don't know, I liked his little thing. And then I didn't watch it until I was older, but I remember watching Uncle Buck with my sister. But yeah, I think this is my favorite role of John Candy's is Barf. Oh man. So how did it shape me? Because I just this Robin Hood Men in Tights, stuff with Jim Carrey, stuff like In Living Color, just helped shape a sort of purview of how I liked to make people laugh, which was like funny voices. I couldn't write jokes like this worth a damn, obviously as a little kid, but like, and there's some stuff that you should not understand as a little kid. Like, how is a little kid supposed to be like, you understand? Like, and I'm talking like little, when he's like, when that sexy nurse walks out and he's like, oh, I bet she gives great helmet. Like, oh, I don't know what that means because he has a big helmet. Haha, he got a helmet because he's Dark Helmet. Let's see. Go into the thing real quick before we talk about the listing. So Jerry Stephen Camacho says, Alexis says her movie is The Ice Cream Man. The Ice Cream Man. Okay. Let me know, mija, if you're talking. Are you talking about The Ice Cream Man, the one with Ron Howard's brother, where he's like an evil ice cream man? He has like acid in the ice cream and he like puts it in people's faces, like the serial killer one. Let me see if that's the one you're talking about. Stephanie Camacho says, we ain't found shit. Yeah. I should not have really necessarily have known what that meant as a kid, but the fact that he was just like, we ain't found shit. Hilarious. And they got a pick. Like, everybody else has a comb. They got a pick. Amazing. Oh boy. Stephanie T says, hot take, Spaceballs is the best Star Wars movie ever made. I said what I said. Oh my god. I'm gonna get smashed online. Everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck? Why could you say that? But you know what? There is substantial evidence for that to be true. There is. It might be like, for me, it might be like Spaceballs and then like Empire Strikes Back. And then like the maybe like Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, maybe flip those, you know. Andor is up there, but like I'd say it's just like how we always say Lego Batman is the best Batman movie. Like that's amazing. My mom says Monster Squad. Big ol', oh my gosh, she's got my attention with the big ol' Monster Squad. That was in my list. This bad boy right here, that was in my list for like movies that I loved. But it didn't like necessarily shape. Honestly, Monster Squad didn't like really. I didn't understand like how much I loved that movie until I was much older. I just kind of liked it for liking it. But then we rewatched it a couple months ago, and there's some stuff in there that's a wee bit problematic. But overall, I will always champion that movie as being like, you know, an underground cult classic. I don't know if it's necessarily independent or B movie status, but I love Monster Squad. But it didn't hit me really how much and why I liked it until I was much older, until I was able to rationalize it a little more. Okay. She says that, yeah, she's talking about the serial killer movie with Cliff Howard. Okay, so Mija, I have not seen The Ice Cream Man in like, I want to say like over 25 years. I saw that by accident because I think I made Grandpa Oscar just buy it because it was like, oh, it's a scary movie, we're gonna watch it. And it was just like, I watched it and was just like, this is so goofy and I guess kind of scary. Like some of the gore scenes and stuff were kind of scary, but yeah, I could not tell you anything that I really remember from that film. My goodness, though, like the ice cream man, what a throwback. I remember that because I remember seeing that. It's like a picture. The cover of the old VHS was like him holding like a. He's like this. He's like all scary looking, and on the ice cream cone he has like. It's either one where it's like a bunch of skulls, or it's one with like eyeballs on the ice cream and stuff. And I remember that one being near the scary version of Jack Frost. There's like a you know, a haunted demon snowman or something like that. It's crazy. Stevie T says, "Come at me, bro." I said what I say. Hey, you're the one that's gonna have to deal with all the Star Wars nerds. Oh man, but I kind of feel like a true Star Wars head, like friends that I know that like Star Wars is their shit. It is part of their soul, and I understand completely because the Force. Like, come on, it makes sense. I feel like they would understand. Like they're so comfortable and like assured with their love of the franchise and of what it meant for society. I felt like a true Star Wars head would be like, I understand why Spaceballs is one of the greatest, if not the greatest Star Wars film. You know, like I get it. The only contention I might say is like, well, without Star Wars, you wouldn't have Spaceballs, you know, effectively. So, you know, it's a, you know, tomato, a chicken or the egg or the chicken. Eggs, omelets, ha. Little more of my Nebraskan whiskey. Tastes like a butter. It's a lot of butter. I put a lot of butter in my whiskey. So Stevie T says the only moment better is when Kylo does the cool lightsaber shrug thing. So just the moment. Just that moment is better than Spaceballs. See, I'll fight you on that one. Heck no. You know why? Because that moment does not have Bar saying, I'm a mug, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. That moment does not have Dark Helmet putting on the Schwartz when he's like, you went over my helmet? And he puts it on. The guy's like, no. And he sees it put on the thing. And he's like, oh, shit. I love that. That moment doesn't have, we ain't found shit. That moment doesn't have, I did not see you play with your dolls again. And Pizza the Hut. Jerry Stephen Camacho says, Alexis also says she watched Dazed and Confused over and over again. Oh my goodness. I've only seen that movie once. So Mihai, we're going to have to watch that movie again sometime. Because I know that movie actually started, was one of the main ones to start the, it might have been one of the first ones to really kick off like the stoner comedy, the stoner coming of age genre that really kind of took off with like movies like Pineapple Express and Superbad and stuff like that, like the youth comedy. Kind of in the same vein, it might have been somewhere around like a much more edgier version of like Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off and stuff. I could be wrong, but like I think that's, yeah, I gotta watch Dazed and Confused again because I saw it once a long time ago. Steffi T says, oh my god, Demon Jack Frost scared the crap out of me. I think I rented the wrong film. You might have rented the wrong, you might have thought you were getting Michael Keaton Jack Frost, and you got an evil one where he's does messed up things to a girl in the shower. Giselle wants to know if I've ever seen Terrifier. I've never seen Terrifier. I know that they are nasty movies. I know that they're hardcore gore films, but I do know about Terrifier. I know about Art the Clown. Yeah. She said I watch Dazed and Confused with my dad all the time. I feel like that'd be a movie for your dad. That's awesome. I think we might. Oh nope, I got one more film, my friends. One more film. I think it's because it sort of also encapsulates what I now realize as another part of my performance persona and what I like to do and how I like to go about things, even though my man was more than comedy. Last but not least for today's conversation, boop. I can show you this film. Can't keep singing this because I'll get copyright collected and then Disney will sue me. Allegedly, maybe. Aladdin. Aladdin holds a special place in my heart because I'm pretty sure I broke our VCR trying to watch this movie way too much. At least that's what I was told. I don't know how true that was because you watch a single movie too many times. I don't know if that's grounds for your VCR breaking because you put the same movie in, but that's what y'all told me. And that's really messed up to tell like a 6-year-old because then I felt so bad for breaking the thing, but it wasn't my fault. I didn't know what I was going on, but it might have been a Michael Jackson movie. It might have been Moonwalker. I don't know. I guess I could talk about the Moonwalker, but like Aladdin. My all-time favorite Disney film because I absolutely love the genie and don't know why, but my man was just tailor-made for Robin Williams and Robin Williams was tailor-made for the genie. And a lot of people used to tell me that when I would like serve and things like that, that I reminded them of Robin Williams because I like to do a lot of voices. I was very animated, and I would just be everywhere, especially when I would do improv and stuff like that. So again, something that kind of came into the thing about that of being like sort of clownish and loving that style of comedy of just quick-witted, cartoonish banter and just being fun and silly in the vein of like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. I love it. I always have. I haven't seen, and I would love to see a resurgence of stuff like this, especially from animated films and everything, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. That movie, which movie is Our Relationship? I also broke our VCR from watching Shrek over and over. Oh, Shrek! Yay! I love that. But I see, like that would be the last of the things, my friends. That would be the overall beautiful and sort of complete thing of the movies that I could kind of initially think of that helped shape certain things about me, a specific dimension, certain dimensions about me. Not every dimension. You wish. Nope, just some. Because we are like a vast ocean. We are like a vast ocean, all harboring the waters of memory, life, laugh, and tears. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. It is ever so vast. It is ever so universal and ever so endless. Speaking of all that nonsense, I guess I kind of forgot, but like I don't know if it shaped me so much as just I liked watching it because I liked Michael Jackson, but like Moonwalker. I guess you could say it really as the dancing part. Michael Jackson. It's Hugh Jackman's second, third, and fourth cousin twice removed. Yeah, it was it was like I just liked watching Moonwalker because I liked Michael Jackson. But that movie is a trip. If you realize that, like somebody somewhere had to be on maybe some type of drug or was just like, okay, whatever Michael wants is what we're doing, which is I'm pretty sure might have been what happens. But I loved Moonwalker. That's where you got the the music video of Smooth Criminal, which is great. Michael turns into a big freaking Autobot, big old Optimus Prime in his Silver Surfer area, just starts massacring people, kicks Danny DeVito's ass. It's great. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, Cousin Victor says, Moonwalker always makes me think of you. My son likes it. Hey, if Vic Jr. loves Moonwalker, I'd say coming from Uncle Dimitri, he like his Uncle Heyoka, he's got good taste. Good taste in him. Good taste, little man. And I expect you, Vic, to impart on him the monumental effect that Michael Jackson had in popular music. But also, I've also come to know, because even music is not my forte as far as for things, but like, he was part of that. He was part of, it's not a pinnacle. It's a plane. It's not a pinnacle. It's a lexicon of things. But like, you know, him, Madonna, Prince, who else is like the singular, like those crazy, like unnaturally famous icons of those people back in the days. I used to like the singular, the solo acts. I can't think of any. Like I said, music is not my forte. One day though, I should like walk into like a music history thing. Like, you know, it's like, let's go from music from like the 1930s on until like now. Just get like a real layabout for the music of stuff. Any other last minute comments from my lovely, my family, my audience, going into all that business? One day we will watch Dazed and Confused. Yeah, that'd be lovely. If you want, we can watch the ice cream one. I'm surprised my people have watched Terrifier, because that's a very violent film. I don't know if you've seen all three, Mija, but like, I know that those films can get pretty wacky, and I've seen some really violent and disturbing stuff. Can't talk about it here, or at least maybe that's for another stream, but yeah. The Golden Child. Oh my goodness. Because yeah, when Eddie Murphy was on top, man, Golden Child, Coming to America, Trading Places. I only saw Beverly Hills Cop once, and I think it was the second one that I saw. But I love Golden Child. I love the Golden Child so much. There's 4? I thought there was 3. Maybe there's 4. Okay, well, wow. All right, Gisele. Hopefully you're not too traumatized. You know, it'd be funny if they mixed Terrifier with The Notebook. Whoa, that would have been wild. Oh, that would have been wild. Wild. Hey, friends, if my lovely friends and family, my guests out there, my people out there, if there's nothing else, throw it up in the comments later on. This is a fun topic. Thank you so much, Big Sister Steph, for the so much cat hair. Tickles my nose. Jason Camacho asks, what movies defines our relationship, brother? Well, definitely Mortal Kombat. That's probably one of the main ones that I remember us getting through some tough times listening to the soundtrack and watching that film. Let's see. Here, I'm gonna put I'll add in like really emotional music later. Hey, arms of the angel, well, also, like the ones I had mentioned, like Spaceballs and Robin Hood Men in Tights, like, and like in Living Color, I was introduced to those because of Big Sister. Like, I knew that. Probably one of the like this is a trilogy, and I didn't add it in. I just understood that it's more of like a nostalgia and like lovely moment for myself, my sister, and my father. But like the Ten Commandments, I remember that was like a staple in our home for the longest time, and I love that film. So Ten Commandments is always a great one. Oh, I got the ladies in my chat. My sister being like, "What? Answer correct. What defines our relationship? You freaky boy." What movies define our relationship? So yeah, so Mortal Kombat, our little slew of Mel Brooks films. Do you remember, Big Sister, when we went to Michael J. White and John Leguizamo, Martin Sheen? Yeah. I remember Spawn, because I remember I was obsessed with the comic book Spawn. I think the movie is actually what got me into the comic book. I remember we went to go see that at the Victor Valley Mall. Long time ago. And I think now, like as it stands now, for me to you, big sister, it was the fact that we fell in love with like the nerd franchises. Like, you know, we watched The Walking Dead together. I remember I introduced you to Sherlock. We get to nerd out over like, like I came into it, but then you fell in love with like Lord of the Rings. I know you started appreciating like Harry Potter, stuff like that. So it was like the continuation, but I'd say like those initial ones. And I remember you would watch, you know, we would watch a lot of things together. So I would say like, yeah, those particular ones, like the Eddie Murphy, like Golden Child and Coming to America. Those are all ones that I would watch with you constantly. And try to be as cool as you were, because you are 8 years my senior, and like I was just trying to like keep up. But I'll be honest, I probably didn't understand half those jokes. I just liked it because they seemed fun. Now for my bubbies, for Steph T, for Allison T, that were the movies that define our relationship. Dang, you guys are getting real personal. I'm getting all kinds of sweaty, sticky, gross, greasy personal on my live chat. Excuse me, I'm a man, and I don't take those things. Actually, screw that. Idaho whiskey. Oh. Tastes like a Manhattan. Spunny, he's a man. He can't beat him. No one can. For myself and Bubbers. Well, our always go to. I don't really give a crap about this holiday, but like our always go to Valentine's Day adjacent, or you know, in the realm of Valentine's Day, we always go to the Deadpools because I love Deadpool. You love Deadpool. That's one of them. Again, we grew with our nerddoms, so like, you know, I know we really love like Lord of the Rings and everything like that. I know you had a real love for Harry Potter, and I just kind of like fell off with certain things. But we grew with our nerddoms and certain things. Like, you know, we can chill out and really enjoy a good Marvel movie or a Marvel TV show. I have shared my love with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're one of the ones who connects with that on like a really deep personal level, especially hearing the story of like Zuko. It's another one. Oh geez, now my mom has come into this chat and is asking the same things with all things. My goodness, ladies, you're making me strip down to my skivvies here. Okay, so for Allison, the nuance of the answer to that question is tough because I tried to really introduce you to like a slew of movies. But I would say the one that defines us probably the most, which is just how we are day in and day out, is like Deadpool, especially Deadpool 1. Like Vanessa and Deadpool, like our goofiness is very much akin to theirs, which is probably borderline sociopathic, but it's fun nonetheless. Yeah, you know, I'll save that. That's a little more personal. I won't get too personal with that and the thing. So, for mom, for our mother and son. So you did mention Psycho, and we all know Norman Bates has the best relationship with Psycho. So there we go, mama. There we go. Mother and son. Psycho. Psychos 1 through 4. That defines our relationship, mom. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so for mom, let's see. I know that, so it's not really a movie. Well, I mean, in a way, yes. But Avengers Endgame. I've told you, Mama. I've told you, Mama, of a very specific scene that is like, there it is. That's me and Mom. Avengers Endgame. That would be a good one to define the relationship. Let's think of one when I was little. This works because for some reason when I would come home from school a lot of the times and nobody mom and dad would be at work most of the time, and big sister would either be at work or at school. So I'd come home and I'd be by myself a lot, which is me and Caesar, our dog. But I would come home and I had this stint for, I don't know, maybe 3 months. Every day I would just make myself some kind of food, a lunch, and I would watch the Aristocats. I don't know why. I would just love watching that film. Just watch the Aristocats, and it's my mom's favorite Disney film. So boom, there you go. All right, friends, I think that's a little more personal than I need. Oh, I gotta wash that off and save some of the crazier answers for some things you keep close to the chest. Some things you don't go crazy about. My Texan whiskey tastes like a espresso with vodka in it. All right, my lovely viewers, that's all. If you got anything else, throw them in the comments after the video is posted. I would love to hear more for you. Give me some more suggestions for future live chats. I got more videos coming out very, very soon. If you like what I do, go ahead and hit, you got a YouTube thing, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Throw in the comments, do that notification bell. Just like and subscribe on the channel. Even if you don't watch me, just subscribe because it helps. And if you like what I do and you want to help support, there's little links in my little videos of I think it's like a buy me a coffee or a PayPal, and it's like a donation thing. If you like what I do, you can donate to the channel. Helps get some equipment and everything like that. So yeah, do the things, friends. Got nothing but love from my beautiful audience and my family out there, always supporting. I love that. Jerry Secretario, why are you crying with the and then you're crying like Boy George in The Wedding Singer. Oh God, it's so hot. But yeah, friends, that was such a lovely and fun stream. We'll do it again soon, I promise. Everybody, remember, peace is the default. Damn near everything is nuanced. And remember, just be freaking excellent to each other. All right? All right, everybody. I think that's a see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, how about that, Mr. Dowdy Mustafa? See, that's a little, did you like that? Did you like the little callback to the genie? Goodbye now. Goodbye. Thank you for calling Magic Carpet. I hope I don't get sued again by Disney. I got no money. Disney, you have all the money. I don't got no